So good evening, everyone, and welcome again to our special series on kindness. Today's session is on kindness in relationship with others. And so we very happily welcome back Aruna Ladva, who shared inspirations with us last week, and we have the fortune of her joining us again this week, but with a particular focus on our relationship with others. So just to remind you that Sister Aruna has actually been a very experienced meditator. She's been practicing meditation for over 35 years. She's also a very accomplished author, internationally recognised, with so many beautiful publications about relationships. And the popular series that she has been famous for is the It's Time series, which actually started as a blog in 2010, and it's been an inspiration for so many around the world. So I'd like to welcome you to the evening's program and invite Sister Aruna to share her insights on this topic. Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine. Thank you to the Canberra Centre for having me. And it was a joy to speak last week because actually when I speak, I'm speaking to myself. So it was nice to churn about kindness with the self. And today we discuss kindness with others. So I'd like to just take a moment now. I'd like us all to just sit quietly. And in this one moment that we will take, I'd like you to check, when were you last kind to someone? Okay. So it might have been 5 minutes ago, it might have been an hour ago, it might have been yesterday. So somehow in the back of your mind, you know now that what did that kindness look like? Because the fact that I got you to answer this question, kindness towards others, something must have come into your mind, right? Maybe I did something for someone, I went out of my way, whatever it is, some thought, some experience, some recollection. So just hold on to that, and we will go into that in a few minutes. But I just want to take 5 minutes to go over what we were sharing last week, because kindness to the self is the foundation. It's like the bedrock of being kind to others. And so I was sharing last week why it is so important to be kind. And that is because basically it makes us feel good. And so many studies have been done that when I go out of my way to be kind, and especially to others, not just things and animals, but to others, it just, makes me feel better. But when I'm in that state of kindness, I'm actually in my original state. I'm in my natural state. And that's what's the greatest feeling. Because when I'm not in my natural state, that's when I feel disturbed. That's when I'm out of sync. And that's when there's confusion, or there's inner pain, or just a feeling of not being in control, being governed, on the other hand, by things, other people, not having the power to deal with situations. So when I'm in my natural state, we call that actually the soul conscious state. When I'm in that natural state, then my original qualities emerge naturally. And kindness is one of those instinctual qualities that emerge. Because think about it, anytime something happens, your intuition encourages you actually to be kind. Your intuition encourages you to trust over not to trust. Your intuition says, just love, instead of hate. So when we are in our natural state, our natural qualities emerge, right? So I was emphasizing that. I was emphasizing that it's good to, I was saying it's more important to be kind than it is to be right. And I mentioned several times, and I'll mention it again today, we may not be kind to others and we won't lose anything. But if we are kind to others, we gain so much. We gain their trust, we gain their blessings, their honor for us. I mean, so many things, their love, their attention. And I was also talking about Darwin. So I was saying that it's not the survival of the fittest. It's not just that we are selfish and we want to just survive on our own, but we are actually social beings. And that if we were to live alone, we couldn't survive. So we need a community, we need family, we need friends. Now, if we are to hold that community together, we need the quality of kindness. And of course, all that begins with the self. So we were talking quite a bit about that the kindness of the self is actually my innate soul purpose. I have to be kind. I was born to be kind. The natural quality of the soul is to be kind, is to give, is to share, is to care, is to inspire. This is the natural quality of the self. And so today I do want to give you lots of examples of how to be kind to others, but again, just a little bit more about kindness. Again, on our spiritual path here, we are taught that, we have to be kind to everyone, because it's so easy to be kind to those who are being kind to us. But to be kind to the one who's being nasty to you, not even simply ignoring you, but somebody who's being nasty to you. Try being kind to them. Try being kind to somebody who's considered a criminal. This is the level of kindness that we are aspiring to. Because that means that I have to emerge more kindness from within me. When somebody is being nice to me, it's easy to be nice to them. But when somebody is not being nice to me, how much more it takes from me to embrace that person, to embrace their idiosyncrasies, their habits, whatever they're doing. Yeah, I might say I'm tolerating, I'm accommodating, but that's not real kindness. Real kindness is actually to see the soul, but not to highlight their weakness. This is the ultimate kindness. And we saw this with the founder of the organization. He could see that this child is doing something wrong, but he would only highlight that child's specialities. And of course, through that, the child would understand that, I know he said this because I have this. So the soul has their own, let's say, realization. So for me to become judge and to criticize, to condemn, that's not kindness. We have to leave all those things to karma, to nature, to the drama, we say, the drama of life and the opening up of events. Why should I be judged for others? So this does bring me to the other major point about why we should be kind to others, and that is the karmic dynamic. See, when I'm kind to others, I'm setting off a ripple effect. It's like throwing a stone in the water, and it just ripples out. But what happens once it touches the edge? It ripples back to you. In other words, whatever you get is a result of what you gave. And this is something we should not forget. one of the greatest reasons why I need to be nice to others and kind to others is because I want to be treated kindly back. Because I want to live in a community where there is niceness and kindness. So karma is inherent in every action, actually, in everything that we do. So let me take a few moments to just explain karma. And actually, it's mostly karma with people. There is an element of karma with things, with money, etc. But our prime dynamic that takes up a lot of our energy is with people. So if I've created a karma with my thought, so if, for example, I've not been nice to somebody with my thoughts, then chances are that person will also be thinking negatively of me. Like when you think of somebody, they call you, right? This happens mostly. You think of someone, they turn up or they call you or whatever. And in the same vein, if I've been thinking negatively, because it's all vibration, if I've been thinking negatively, somewhere they may start thinking negatively of me. If I've spoken bad about someone, right? So we move from thought to word, then they're probably saying something about me. And now we come to action. If I'm in action, if I've done something wrong, which also means I've really said something, and as a result, there's been negative energy created, then again, that negativity will come back to me. So it's so important. One of our main principles in Raj Yoga, one of our pillars, actually, main principles of practice is to see the speciality in others. Honestly, I get asked this question so many times. How can I like someone if I don't see their speciality? But the problem is not in them. The problem is in me because I'm not seeing the speciality. It's for me to see. It's for me to find it. And if I can't find it, I'm not looking hard enough, or I'm not looking in the right place. I'm probably looking through a lens of expectation. I'm probably looking through a lens of, what can you do for me? And then I might like you. So it's up to me, my job. I have to find the speciality in that person. And let me tell you, as soon as you find the speciality of that person, then no matter what they do, somehow you're able to tolerate it. Somehow you're able to accommodate it, to merge it, forgive them, let go. Because now that specialities of theirs, has a higher ground than the little negative thing they might have done. So this is why I can see why when the Institute was founded, why this became a principle, because this is how we create a community. That we see and only focus in on the speciality. So every soul has to have one speciality. You might say, well, no, this person, I know my cousin, relative, husband, no, they don't have any speciality, any virtue. It's not true. Every soul comes down with some speciality. So let me find that, let me zoom in on that. And if I give power to that, imagine then the karmic ripple I'm setting off. If I'm giving power to their speciality, imagine that they will also be doing the same for me. And that's how, in a way, we empower each other. And that's how the unity grows. So karma plays a very important role in terms of this dynamic of living together, working together. And kindness always pays off. We know this. I've said it many times. Kindness always pays off. When you start doing something for the other, then it just creates a very nice energy. As opposed to if I'm selfish, or as opposed to if I'm self-centered, as opposed to if I'm only thinking about myself. If you go to the cafeteria or wherever you make your tea or coffee, and you just, happen to bring another cup of coffee for your friend, How does that make them feel? Sure, you can go and make your own. I remember there was one incident in a girl who just used to make her tea. And there was another male who had come to stay. He was a guest. And he felt so bad that he was never offered this tea. And for several years, of course, he came and left. He spent a few weeks and left. But for several years, he kept telling me that, she could have made tea for me. She could have made tea for me. I mean, it was a very simple thing. The girl didn't realize that, all he wanted was tea, and it would have been nice to just offer it to him. And yeah, sure, he could have made it himself, but it was the act of kindness. He didn't feel the act of kindness of being asked, of being invited into that little cup of tea. So you can see, I mean, from that we learn a lot, that people are not asking for big things. People are asking for small things, small gestures of love, small acts of kindness. And so it doesn't take much to make them, happy. So why not? Why not to give that happiness? What stops us from being generous and being kind? And of course, the biggest culprit is our ego. Our ego stops us from really pouring our heart and saying, okay, you know what? Let me go out of my way to do this for you. Because suddenly the ego says, no, 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 if you do this, you might be seen as being small. You might be seen as being naive. They may not respect you. But think about it again. Will they not respect you, or will they respect you more? Again, even the founder of our organization, he would be making these cow dung chapatis. You take cow dung and they make it into like a little chapati, and they dry it, and then they use it as fuel. Now he was sitting and doing that with all the other students. He could have said, I'm too great for this. You guys get on with it. And they would have accepted. They wouldn't have questioned it. And they would have thought, yes, he's right. He doesn't need to do this. Incident where one of our senior brothers came for the first time to the institution. And so Brahma Baba, the founder again, he was out on the road moving these big rocks. He was wearing shorts. He had very skinny legs, and he was moving these big rocks so that the road could be cleared, so there wouldn't be difficulty for others. And our senior brother tells us that when he saw that, he just had tears in his eyes. That here was such a great personality, and yet so humble to do these chores. So I think we have to think twice about, if I go out of my way to do this, is it going to make me any smaller, or is it going to make me greater? Because those who recognize those deeds will find that it is a great deed. It's the ones with the small intellect, it's the ones with the egos who may not recognize it, and you can't do anything about that. You just have to let that go. And each one has to, learn their lesson in their own time. But let me do what I need to do, because this is about my life. This is about me accumulating good karma in my life. So let me do what I need to do without judgment. The other day I was sharing with our family here that when we are all judged at the end, we cannot give any excuse. We cannot say that, oh, because this person was not being kind to me, that's why I did this. Or because this was happening, I didn't have money, I didn't have that, I was too lazy. I mean, I cannot give any excuse at the end. Imagine that you are sitting an exam and you do your paper and the exam paper is given in. Can you explain to your teachers or the ones who mark it, oh, I had difficulty at home, I didn't focus, I didn't concentrate enough? I mean, can you say any of that? No, at the end, it's the number you get. It's the marks you get. And so in life too, this is how I see it, that every relationship is an opportunity for me to gain my marks. Every relationship is an opportunity to win that heart. As I'm being kind to the other person, I'm winning that heart. I'm conquering that heart. And I will forever remain in their heart. And that's the real victory. It's not about how much I earn or how much I do, but how much I gave to others, how much I was kind to others. So I want to now, as time is moving, I have a list of ways in which we can be kind to others, and we can just go through that and explain. So, yeah, let me mention another thing, that when I am being kind to others, I don't need to brag about it, right? Every time I say, see, I was kind to you on that day, I was kind to you last week, I was kind to you again today. Is that kindness? So it's intrinsic in the quality of kindness that I do and I forget. I do and I let go. It's intrinsic in that. And we see how so many different species can be so kind to each other. There's so many videos on YouTube, on Instagram, how elephants are caring for the dog, how the dogs are caring for the kittens, how the cat is caring for the puppies. I mean, it's just instinctual to be kind and caring. And so as humans, let me just do, and we say, let me just throw the result in the ocean of oblivion, which means let me not count. Oh, I was nice to this one, then I was nice to that one. Not like that. Let me just keep being nice, because that is my nature. And so as I'm being nice, as I'm being kind, yes, in the subtle balance sheet of the soul, the marks are recorded there. And so this is what we are known for at the end. We are known for how kind we were. In fact, there's a big incident happening in India right now, and this actor, everybody remembers him in such a positive vein, in such a positive light. And there's a big case as to whether he committed suicide or he was murdered. But his good deeds are paying off, because everybody who talks about him mentions how such a nice guy he was, and a generous guy, a philanthropic guy. He had spiritual values. So you see, what is left when we leave behind is the memory of the goodness, the memory of the good things that we did. So that should be a motivation for us to continue to do the good. Okay, let's begin with this list then. So one of my first points is give benefit of the doubt. You see, it's so easy to judge others and condemn others and say, oh, because of this, because of that. But we always say that, you know, the guilty is not guilty unless proven guilty. So give benefit of the doubt means, again, try and keep yourself in a positive state of mind. This is also kindness. Let us not judge before the case is over. So kindness in this respect means still having those good wishes and pure feelings for that person. Because if I already condemn that one guilty, what are the seeds I'm planting? And what will be the outcome? You see? Next, listen. Listen without the intent to interrupt. And listen without jumping in with the answer or a pre-planned answer. So there is a difference between hearing and listening. Many times we hear, but we don't listen. Hearing hearing is just this audible sound. But to listen is with the psyche, with the focus, with attention. So being kind is listening. Sometimes, many times, I've noticed when I've had to meet people, it's not what I've said, it's just that I've sat and listened. I've just let them speak and I've just listened. And then they thank you so much. But then you think, what did you do? You didn't do anything. You didn't say anything. So just to be able to listen without judgment, without preconceived ideas, is also being kind. Reserve judgment, right? I've already mentioned that, but just to emphasize. So if we don't know the truth, right, years ago, when I was in London, I was with Dadi Janki, the senior of the organization, who passed away. And I remember this incident. So I was in the house and there was a few of us. So Dadi asked me, where is so-and-so? Another girl who also lived in the house. And I said, I don't know. And another girl standing there said, oh, she must be sleeping. When Dadi found out a couple of hours later where this other girl was, Dadi actually told us all off. Because Dadi said, if you don't know the answer, why do you have to presume? And as we presume, this is the image we're creating of this person, that she sleeps all the time, or she's not there, or she's lazy, or whatever, right? So this is what I mean about reserving judgment. If I don't know, I really don't know. And I don't say anything. But that was a big wake-up call, that let me not just make up words, make up statements if I don't know the truth, because that's very unkind. Let me find out the truth about the story. And if I don't know, then really to be quiet. Next is give people a chance to talk, right? So what I mean by this is, we see this a lot in our workshops, when we have group gatherings. So sure, there could be the talkers, right? And then there's the ones that are passive. But it's also kind to be thoughtful and say to those who don't normally speak, or those of a second language, would you like to share something? Because it's easy for me to take the airtime because, you know, I speak English, I speak fluent English. So it's easy. But just to show that gesture of, let's hear from you, let's see what you have to say. And even in a family setting, let's hear from the younger generation. Let's hear from the older generation. What do they have to say? So if I give people a chance to talk, I'm being open, right, to their ideas. I'm being open to their point of view. And that's what's most important. It's not just that we gave them the chance to speak, but that we are open to what they have to say. And people feel heard if you really listen with that interest, genuinely, authentically, then people feel valued. And so what are you doing? You're raising their spirits. And that is also an act of kindness. Actually, as I was going through this, I was realizing that by using all the qualities, we're being kind. So one of them is to be honest. When I'm being really honest, but not honest to hurt, but honest to help. So if I'm really being honest and meaning well for the other person, then I will say something with great kindness. And there is this art of communication where I can say what I want in the right tone, with the use of right words, and still be honest and not hurtful or critical. So when I'm honest, say, for example, okay, let's say food here, right? So many times they put extra salt or something that maybe I don't eat. And so I would say, again, trying to use my conflict resolution skills, I would say, you know what, this is very nice. And it would be nice if you did this. It would be nice if you used less salt. It would be nice if you used coconut oil, whatever. So what I'm saying is sometimes we avoid the issues because we don't know how to say it. We feel we will hurt others. And then we're suffering and they're suffering because they're trying to please you and you're trying to be nice to them and it doesn't work. But there is that middle ground where I can be honest. I can say what I like, what I don't like. And this is how it, can be. This would be better. But it's again using the right tone, using the right words. And this has to be like genuine honesty. Like what I mean, genuine honesty is honesty with the intent to help, to change the situation, and not just honesty to condemn the other person. You see? And then being nice is doing something for others, right? Like an act of good deed. So I mentioned about getting the coffee cup. It could also be many things. This is a big area, doing things for others. Many times people pay for other people's children's education. But again, I would say be careful where you put the money, make sure it's going in the right place, because money can be Maya, right? Maya is this energy that makes us do wrong things. So make sure you're paying the school if you're paying for education. Act of good deed could be, if somebody's coming, give them the parking space. You might think, oh no, I'm running late. It's my space. I came first. I mean, we can do all that with our ego, right? And weigh things up and think. But, I feel like the more we are kind, the more we having faith in the kindness. Because if I do that for somebody, they'll realize, oh, this is possible. Let me do that for somebody else. It didn't take much. But you see, you set off a ripple effect and you allow others also to continue that same good deed. I've got other examples like baking a cake, getting flowers just for no reason, tidying up areas. I mean, this area is big. Go out of your way. In fact, this is your homework this week. Try and do a good deed for others. Try to do one good deed for others a day. Just try that. And as I was saying last week, see how it makes you feel. And really, it makes you feel good that you're not just doing things for yourself. Kindness is also having manners, expressing gratitude often, not just once or once a day, but really being thankful, showing how thankful you are, grateful you are, saying please. Right? These are simple manners where we could be kind. Again, you may not say it. Somebody keeps the door open for you and you just walk in. As I said, you don't have to say it, but if you say it, that means you're acknowledging it, you're appreciating it, you're making the other person feel good, you're validating it, so they will be encouraged to do it again. So, having these manners means I'm reflecting what's actually going on inside of me, isn't it? When I have these manners, it's a reflection of how I treat myself. If I'm being that nice to myself, then I will be nice to others. So this is why it's important. So of course, the opposite of that is, don't demand, don't be rude, don't be critical. Okay, this is a simple one, which I'm sure you've heard many times. Smile at others. Like, honestly, I mean, many times I go walking and if somebody, normally in this place here, the ring is going one way, so you don't cross the other person. But in certain places, if you're crossing the other person, I try often to give that smile. And you see that the other person is trying to avoid you. They don't want to look at you. But you know what? I just keep smiling, because if they do look at me by any chance, then they'll see that, yeah, I'm trying to share a smile. And I notice how, because you eased up, they will also mostly 99% reciprocate that smile. So whether you're walking for exercise or out and about in the supermarket, in the queues, whatever, it doesn't hurt to share a smile. It's just such a simple gesture. And again, think about it. It reflects who you are. It reflects that you're a happy person. You're a contented person. You are a joyful person. So why not to, emit that vibration? Why not to share that spirit with others? It just sets off a ripple effect, right? They'll smile to others and then them to others. It's amazing. Kindness is also to be generous. So generous with everything, again, with your time, with your money. And it's not, when I talk about money, it's not always also the big things, but just even little things. In fact, when we were somewhere, somebody got me this mask, and it was actually a mask made by one of the mothers in London. It was a cotton mask. And it was a simple gift, but it's just so valuable. It's just so practical. Plus, all this time, I've used only 2 masks. One mask I used, and I kept washing that. One of those paper one, whatever paper. This one, which was a cloth one, I just keep reusing that. So over this last period, of 5-6 months, honestly, I've just used 2 masks because I don't want to waste the masks. I don't want to add more to the plastic pollution. So anyway, point is, be generous. So she was generous enough to give me that cotton mask. I'm just saying little things go a long way. It's not about spending a lot of money. In terms of time, generous with your time. Give others the company of your time. Sit with them, eat with them. Again, somebody can eat alone and it's not an issue. But if you sit and eat with them, even if you've eaten yourself, that's kindness. That's camaraderie. That's love, just spending those few minutes, just sharing like earthly things. That's all. So in this regard, let us not be stingy. Let us not be misers. Let us give. Even I was thinking in terms of the road, the highway. Just give way. Just give way. It's okay. If somebody wants to go ahead of you, just give them way. Why do we have to be stubborn? Why do we have to block them? Let them go. And again, this needs positive attitude. It's not that they want to take over because they want to show off, or maybe they have somewhere to get to urgently. How do we know what is their story? What's their situation? Why do we have to jump to these conclusions that, and have anyway negative thoughts? Yeah. And give genuine workshop. So I get actually people to whisper into the other person's ear something nice about the other person. And honestly, it just changes the spirit, the atmosphere in the room. All like to be liked and loved. And so if somebody starts talking nice about you, it brings a smile to your face, it makes you feel good. And again, you start trusting the other person. Hopefully you start trusting. Hopefully it's genuine and you start trusting. So really, it's a small thing, but just give more compliments, especially people who are at work, especially if you're in positions of leadership. Just give more compliments. Just be more appreciative. This was great. Wow, that was amazing. You did a super job. That was really tasting lovely. Well done. Whatever. I mean, when we keep congratulating people at every moment, again, that is pure kindness. But again, we have to have enough to give, right? This is the point. I won't be saying these things if I'm feeling down and depressed, if I'm feeling empty, if I feel my life is lousy, if I'm discontent with everything. So sure, I need to, fill myself up so much that I have something to give to every soul that comes in front of me, something positive. So yeah, that was a few of those things. Okay, so now what I'd like to do is I'd like to do a little meditation. Okay, and then if there's any questions, I'm happy to take those questions. Oh yeah, actually I had a few quotes. Maybe we just read a few of these before we get into meditation. So I'll just read them slowly. So you treat others better when you take care of yourself. You treat others better when you take care of yourself. For what you do to others, you do to yourself. Right? This is Eckhart Tolle. For what you do to others, you do to yourself, right? So if you're kind to yourself, you'll be kind to others. Kindness is a gift everyone can afford to give. Kindness is a gift everyone can afford to give. This is very nice, and I've seen this in different forms. Never look down on anyone unless you're helping them up. Right? So never look down on someone unless you're actually helping them up. Kindness, it costs nothing, but it means everything. And then last, do things for people, not because of who they are or what they do in return, but because of who you are. Do things for people, not because of who they are or what they do in return, right? In return for you, but because of who you are. Okay? So yeah, let's just sit comfortably and just have 5 minutes, 6 minutes of meditation. And then I think there was 1 or 2 questions. I'm going to take them up. So in this meditation, I'd like us to visualize a person that I know I need to be kind to more. So just bring them into your mind's eye. And I'd like you to see them standing in front of you. And now I'd like you to fill yourself up with all the kindness, all the goodness. Imagine that this body of yours is a body of light, and you're filling that body with so much light, the light of goodness, the light of love. And I'd now like you to share that light like a laser and shower the other person with all that goodness. And just let go of any other thoughts about why should I do it? Why do I have to do it? They don't deserve it. Let go of all of that. There's no place for that now. Right now, it's about me learning to just give my light and love without judgment. Right now, it's about me opening up my heart and sharing that goodness. And now I'd like you to see that that other person is also being filled with light. They are also awakening to their greatness. And now I'd like you to see the smile on their face. This is the greatest act of kindness. To make the other realize their inner beauty, their inner strength. And now that soul, that person, is sending you, and you can feel the vibrations coming towards you of the love and blessings. And this makes you feel good. This encourages you to give more light. And in return, you receive more blessings. And now take this moment also to decide on doing that good deed. Last week, I asked you to do good deeds on the self, for the self. Continue with that, but also now decide on what is something good, something nice that you can do for others. It could be one person, it could be many, it could be one deed for many. But just take a moment now in meditation, in this stillness, in this silence, to plant that seed, to plant that intention. It could be something as simple as just asking genuinely how they are, or listening intently. And when I am kind, my soul feels so comforted. My soul feels so relieved. And there is no fear from that deed. So if I'm to experience real inner peace, I have to continue to be kind, so that there is no iota of guilt, of fear, of anything negative coming back to me. because I have not set out anything negative. So really make this vow with yourself that I choose to be kind. I choose to be kind with myself, and I choose to be kind with others, no matter what they do, no matter what they are like. Just make this pact with yourself. Because there is no other way, there is no other choice. Okay. Shanti. And we had this question from last week, or during the week. And I think anybody who wants to ask, you can send the question. Catherine, do you want to tell them where they can send the questions? Or do they know where to send questions?
Yes, so at the end, what I'll do is I'll put up our email details. So if anybody would like to ask Aruna Ben any questions, we'd be very happy to take them via email.
Okay. Okay, well, one of the questions was how to be kind to others without being unkind to myself. So my response to this would be that actually, if I'm truly being kind to myself from a really pure place, a genuine place, then there's no question of being unkind. Like if I'm being kind to myself and others from a really pure place, then there's no question of there being anything negative coming back, because I keep telling you that everything is a seed. So if the seed was of goodness and not, tainted by anything negative, then if you have set out kindness, only kindness can come back. This is the theory that we are taught. This is the whole theory of karma. As you sow, so shall you reap. Right? If you plant tomato seeds, you don't get cucumbers. So don't wait for cucumbers, right? Or don't anticipate, don't fear that cucumbers will come, because you have planted tomatoes and that's what will emerge. So it's the same here. If I know deep down in my gut that I am doing the best with purest intent, I'm setting out, the best I can, sending out the best I can, then only that can come back to me. And that's why actually several years ago when I started this path, this was one of the things I said to myself. I said to myself, why should I start when I'm much older, when I know what is right now? So I knew it was right to do good deeds. I knew it was the right thing to do, to help others, to be of service to humanity. So I thought, why am I delaying the process? And that's why I started so young, because again, in our culture, these things you think of later in your 50s and 60s. First, you live for yourself, you establish yourself, and then you might consider, doing social service. As we say, vanprasthi, or, this stage of retirement. But no, inside I just knew I cannot just live for myself. It was not right. It was being selfish to live for myself. So what I'm saying is, if you know from deep down that your intent is good, your intent is pure, then whatever you send out, will come back to you in the same vein. And I've shared this a few times with the people who follow the blog, that actually when I started the blog in, I can't remember now, 2009, 2010, actually I noticed a big difference energetically, because I started to feel the return of people's energy. It was very subtle, but I could feel like I was having this added support. It was like getting their blessings, getting their good wishes, getting their, valued appreciation. I was just putting things out there, and the blog has just built up without any publicity, actually. Every week, religiously, I just put something on the blog. And with time, it has just built that momentum. And so this is why I'm saying to you, everything starts, drop by drop. Just keep doing the good on a daily basis, bit by bit by bit. And the lake gets filled, or the pond gets filled. So I hope that's answered the question of the person who asked it. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Catherine and Panna, Canberra Centre, Satish Bhai. So Catherine, over to you if you have anything to say.
Thank you again, Sister Aruna. I'll just put on that screen so people can see the details. So again, thank you for sharing your inspirations and being an example of someone who just lives from a place of kindness and a generous heart, and sharing what you know and experience about being kind, because that's actually who we are. I also really like that you took us into a meditation experience around planting that intention and becoming firm on that, of making a choice to be kind with myself and others. So thank you again for such a beautiful, inspiring talk this evening. And as you mentioned before, there's an opportunity to ask questions. We have another episode in the series next week, and it is the last one of the series. So it's an opportunity to ask questions on any of the talks that we've had by Sister Aruna so far. But the theme for next week is kindness in relationships with time, matter, and the elements. So kindness in our relationship with time, matter, and the elements. So it'll be the same time next Wednesday, and we hope you can join us again to enjoy the insights from Sister Aruna. Om Shanti and good evening.
Thank you. Thank you.